Check. All right. Good morning, everyone. I come from, so my name is Andy Storm. I'm from the Motor City of Michigan, the Detroit, Michigan, where we build a lot of automobiles, and we pride ourselves on being manufacturers, and then dive into some 3D printing specific examples of how we Eckhart use 3D printing in the manufacturing arena. What you see up on the screen here is kind of a really good example of our what we call our suite of solutions. Our company's suite of solution consists of autonomous guided vehicles, assembly tooling, robotics and flexible automation, 3D printing, and then also engineering services. We do future factory workshops, value stream apps. Here's a quick picture to just give you an idea of a different application in manufacturing. This is an instrument panel that's flowing down an assembly line where you have a lot of people assembling the actual IP. The IP is an instrument panel that goes into an automobile and essentially gets dressed up from some of the stamped components to what you actually see in your vehicle when you purchase your vehicle from a dealership. Here's another view from the front of what that AGV looks like. You can see the bottom structure. If you look closely, you can see some of the 3D printed details that we use in the AGV. Here's a side view of the vehicle, and again, if you look closely, you can see details that are in the bottom of the on the top of the AGV, but on the underside of the tractor. The goal is to build flexibility into the product. Robotics and automation. Again, a quick summary to just show you. Many of you probably work in collaborative with collaborative robotics. This is a project that we did with Ford Motor Company. There's 494 individual bin locations. And if you look closely, you can see that that's a door handle. A big challenge that Ford Motor Company has is when the automobiles are flowing into a station in sequence, you may get a red, yellow, blue, black, white, red. They're all sequenced. Well, the door handles need to be sequenced in color to the operator. And a challenge that any OEM has is if in each of these bins you have a unique color. With collaborative robots, we can now automate the bin picking process and flow those door handles to the assembly center without any human intervention, which helps to increase productivity in the factory. We have a formal partnership with 3M to do automating, welding, grinding, finishing. This is an example of a 3D printed nest that we created for an automated taping solution we developed with 3M. This whole tray is 3D printed. And again, we're trying to automate the application of tape so people no longer need to stand in a workstation and put tape onto components that go into the A pillar, B pillar, and C pillar of an automobile. Here's an example of a really neat project that we developed with Ford Motor Company. This is a casting. I think many of you are aware that it's when you look at the tools that we build at Eckhart, so we're a tool manufacturer that takes automotive components and delivers them to an assembly cell. So this tool lifts this casting out of dunnage onto an assembly line where assemblers then build up, put the gears and all the guts inside of this casting as it flows down an assembly line. 2 years in front of start of regular production, 3D printing allows us and our customer to take the math models, the CAD models of that physical OEM's component or part, a casting in this instance, and bring that part into our assembly environment to run the tool off and ultimately ensure that that tool works properly when it gets into the assembly environment when they start regular production. What really matters in manufacturing, right? When you think of the manufacturing environments you live in, what matters? Safety and ergonomics? Product quality? Employee productivity. I've never ever been in a factory where safety and ergonomics, product quality, and employee productivity are not on the list of priorities for a factory manager. And then ultimately, as a stakeholder using the technology, what do you value? Right? What do you truly value? When I'm working with an OEM like Lamborghini, how do you get components from the OEM when they're in Europe? We're in the United States launching a product line. All these components are 3D printed on a Stratasys 450, Fortis 450, and used to run off the assembly cell when we're doing all of the build-out runoff for the assembly area prior to start of regular production. And ultimately, when it comes to 3D printing, I think we already are seeing the use of autonomous guided vehicles, collaborative robots, interfacing with 3D printers to create a lights-out manufacturing process that can run 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And so for us at Eckhart, while we absolutely believe there's an enormous amount of upside, right, in this type of a model, I believe as a manufacturing nerd and guru, safety and ergonomics, quality, and employee productivity are key tenets, things that we as manufacturers value irregardless of where we work on the globe. 3D printing can help us with that, right? In a very real way. Utilize complementary technology, whether it's 3D printing, collaborative robots, autonomous guided vehicles, the lift assist and secure tool. It's important to remember that with additive. Seek out partnerships that support what you value. I don't think you will find another 3D printing company in the world who's so willing to provide technical experts to you when you need them. On the material side, on the software side, on the hardware side, take advantage of those resources. They're there to help you help your company. And then with regards to life, right? When you're thinking of new technology like 3D printing, use the technology, right? Use the technology, engage with the technology, and work with people who have a passion as you do to improve the life of the world that you're ultimately living in. Don't be afraid to admit or to ask questions if you don't know how to use the technology. We're all fortunate to have a partner like Stratasys who has the technical experts who understand the machines, the equipment, the hardware, the materials, the software, and they want to bring all of us in to the Stratasys family to help. Thanks, everybody.